the animation industry a couple of years ago was just an outsourcing industry. So they used to come, produce and return. That's how it was for many, many years. Of course, now it's come of age where we, not just from A to Z, everything happens in India. So we conceptualize to final execution happens in India, including mixing, just about everything. So it has really come of age, and I think a couple of pioneering business models have made that happen. So there was a time, for example, when this wasn't possible because a lot of this content was not able to, cross countries and not move, move boundaries and export itself. When you're in the entertainment business, it's all about the IP. Yeah, and for example, Pakram Pakrai IP we own, and that's how we monetize and leverage that property, because everything that goes around that, the ecosystem that I build around that, helps me to build ancillary revenue streams as well. So I lower my dependence on subscription and ad sales, and I move into merchandising, digital, retail, consumer products, hopefully inshallah theme parks whenever that happens. But that gives you it gives you that space to do that. But the other added advantage to a show like Pakram Pakrai, for example, and I said to you it was a chase, is the fact that it's actually even been sold to 7 countries outside of India. So you're able to monetize it in the Middle East, in Asia, in Malaysia and all of that. So the content's really been monetized even internationally, and that perhaps justifies the investment that we really make in the Indian content as you go. And 3 big things to my mind that get kids glued to the kids category today is, like I said, how you tell the story, how enduring is that character, and what is the bond that the character has formed with the child, and of course the quality of animation that transports the child from reality into that fictionary world that they so love to be. From a screenager perspective, I think we want to stay ahead of the curve, and very clearly our mission is, as an entertainer, to be made available at a time, place and screen that kids want. Therefore, we do have very strong presence online with 3 websites and a whole lot of games, the Nick World app, which is on iOS and Android. So that pretty much takes us into that online world, which is where if they were to engage with us on those screens, we're very much available. In fact, those screens actually complement the big screen to my mind, which is the TV screen, because what happens is that on the other screen, kids get a chance to interact with the character they so love, right? So, okay, so let me give you an insight. When the kid is watching television, kid is gone into bikini bottom of SpongeBob, that's where he stays. Or they are in Furfuri Nagar with Motu Patlu, right? So they're really into that whole, so that fictionary, imaginary world, and they're transported there and all of that. But the sheer delight is when the kid, and when the character steps out of his world into the child's world, which is in my room, in my bedroom, in my school, and that's where the whole merchandising, consumer products insight comes through as well. So that whole insight about being on another screen is about engaging with that character. So I can play a video game with them, I can do a lot of interacting, I can color, I can draw with Dora online. So a lot of that comes from there as well, and for us as an entertainer, engagement is extremely important. Most of us had a lot of international content on our channels when we all started with this category, and from the olden days we had SpongeBob and Barnyard and Dora, and even today competitors of course have a lot of international content as well. And slowly and steadily you've noticed that a lot of Indian content has made itself into the category, and whether that's Motu Patlu or Chota Bheem or my own Pakram Pakrai or Mighty Raju. So a lot of content that has seen its way through in the category today is also because of the way business models have changed and the way investments have happened, and that has made it possible. But not to say that international content doesn't work. So for example, Ninja is a Japanese show. It's been on the channel for the last 7-8 years, I would imagine, and it's doing very well. It still continues to be the superhero for a lot of the kids. So while Motu Patlu and Pakram Pakra have made their way on the channel, Ninja still rules the roost as well. So there is no formula which says that it's only Indian or it's only international. Some of our competitors have only Indian, some of them have only international. So it's about, like I said, coming back to, it doesn't matter where the character is from because kids really know no geography. It's about how enduring is that character at the end of the day. you do need a central character that kind of gets kids glued to you as a preferred entertainment brand. The other learnings, of course, is their short attention spans. So if you don't keep your channel alive all the time, you'll probably lose them in 60 seconds. It's the business of the IP. And if I am the IP owner, which I am, then I can really monetize it and leverage the investment that has gone into creating that IP in any which manner that I want to, because I'm not depending on anybody else to give me that permission or that leeway. And that would include digital as well. So it's gone much beyond CNS. So it's now gone into VOD, SVOD, OTT, whatever those. There are many such options that you have today. TV anywhere for that matter, TV catch up. All of that is where digital is going, into apps, into games. So if you have the IP, you could possibly be doing all of it, none of it, depending on what you want to do with that property. While you localize, you've got to be very, very, very responsible, because I feel very responsible about a TG that you're talking to. It's in its formative years, right? And anything can influence that mind at that young age. Therefore, you'll never see hardcore bloodshed, murder, violence, that kind of stuff that can actually stress the kids out. While internationally SpongeBob is a large character, Dora's larger. So just to give you perspective, Dora is larger all over the world, and that comes from the fact that she has far more. She's far more generic in her sensibilities than a SpongeBob would. And I'm also purely saying that from perspective of where they are on Nickelodeon in India itself. So while SpongeBob doesn't have that much of Indian sensibilities, and try changing that verbose dialogue in Hindi, and you've lost half the show there itself. So from that perspective, I would imagine that if we look at creating characters like that within and from India, there's nothing that stops us. And I think it's possible because now the animation industry, like I told you, has come of age finally. We found our own business models to create that in India, and to make sure that we have enough investments coming, not just from broadcasters but other interested parties as well, be that digital, be that merchandising, be that international. So it's only a matter of time. However, I have to say that you have to create a character that is able to cross boundaries. You cannot expect to have a very Indian character and then expect him to become larger than life across the world. I mean, what stops us from creating another Spider-Man? Spider-Man knows no culture, religion, nothing, right? And now we have the expertise in-house. So look at the content and look at the quality of animation that's out there. I mean, Motu Patlu itself is a fab, first-class 3D product on air today. Or even Pakram Pakra is a fab 2D content on air. Whichever way you look at it, you've got the ability in terms of production, you've got the ability in terms of conceptualization, animatics, mixing. You can do end-to-end product in India. And it's a matter of time when somebody starts thinking about wanting to create it for the world. We've just started about wanting to make it for India. Today, of course, the demand is so much more and supply so much little that prices will, of course, hit the roof. But having said that, and because of the supply, particularly in comedy, because a lot of us cater to comedy, the supply is so insufficient, is why we've all started producing our own, and therefore reap the benefits of that, because like I said, shelf life is enormous. So even though you spend a lot in creating the pipeline and the investment, it gets amortized over a longer period of time, and therefore the return on investment is that much. The cost of animation is derived by 2-3 ways. One is how many characters are in the show, because the number of characters increases the amount of animation. And how many environments and backgrounds have you created in the show? The more environments and more the backgrounds, the more the cost. So it's all about the story, it's all about the character, and it's about the environment and the background. Animation ruled then and it rules today as well. I just believe that the quality of animation is perhaps making a difference and making leaps and bounds of progress, and the storytelling and the way that characters are created today are far more contemporary. But otherwise, animation is the way of entertainment for children, and it's here to stay, to my mind.